Rebranding. An exciting, maybe a little bit scary thing to do. But is it important? Is it time to rebrand? Well, let's get into that. My name is Ian and you're watching Design. Okay, so is it time to rebrand? Well, there are 7 questions to ask. And if you answer yes to any one of these, perhaps it's time to consider a rebranding process. Question number 1. Are you trying to reach a new audience? Things change all the time in culture. History changes things. We have the millennials giving way to Generation Z. Things change all the time. If we look at the Lego logo and how that's evolved over time, we'll see that in 1946, it looked completely different to how it looks today. And that is because in 1946, which is just a few months after the Second World War, this was the sort of branding that appealed to kids or toy enthusiasts. But obviously, as time went on, as technology evolved, things like that, kids' minds changed, but their perceptions changed as to what toys and fun should be like, until eventually we have the Lego logo that we know and love today. Number 2, are you struggling to raise your prices? Sometimes things seem hopelessly fixed depending on your product or service, whatever your business does. And it all comes down to customer perception. How do your customers see you? Do they see you as a fun-loving brand, or do they see you as a mature kind of brand? Well, let's take a look at the UPS branding. At first, they were very playful and cartoony. But when they started competing against things like DHL and FedEx, they wanted to be in a position where they could change their positioning in the perception of their customers. So they came up with the serious and sophisticated and more mature looking logo or branding, and it worked. They were able to raise their prices. Maybe it could work the same for you. Number 3, are you undergoing a merger or requisition? Happens all the time. Companies partner up with each other. Bigger companies buy out smaller companies. And there's a famous example of this. If we look at Instagram being bought by Facebook, before Instagram was bought by Facebook, they had a very realistic looking camera there with a little rainbow on the side that said Insta. But after Facebook bought them out, they changed their look and feel to be a lot similar to the Facebook logo while still retaining the rainbow colors. And they were able to fit in after having a rebrand. Number 4, have you outgrown your brand? Now, this is a great problem to have, and it's the dream of a lot of organizations out there, is to be in a position where you outgrown yourself so much where you kind of forced to rebrand. For example, if we look at Uber, now I'm generalizing a lot here, there's a lot more to the story than this, but when they started, it was basically a couple of guys trying to solve the taxi problem in San Francisco by using luxury cars. And when the idea grew so much that it became a worldwide phenomenon, their look and feel didn't or couldn't appeal just to people in San Francisco anymore. It had to appeal to a global audience. Number 5, have you changed your business strategy? Now, this is something that happens all the time also. Some businesses move in this direction and things happen, cultures change, products change, market demands change, and so you have to change your business strategy. And sometimes it's significant enough to warrant a rebranding process. And in this example, it's quite a famous example. At one point, Apple was ready to fizzle out. They were selling mediocre electronic products such as digital cameras, television accessories, CD players, things like that, which were blending in with the competition, and they weren't really making anything out of that. So when they rehired Steve Jobs back to his own company, he decided, listen, we're going to change our strategy completely. We're going to try and make our products more beautiful, minimalistic, simple to use. And that's the approach that they went for. That's the strategy they ran with. And in order to stay in line with that, they went with the clean and minimal Apple look that we know today. Question number 6. Does your brand take more than 30 seconds to explain? Some people call this the elevator pitch, which is basically, can you explain your business or brand before the elevator doors open and the other guy walks out. If it takes too long, maybe the emphasis of your brand is misplaced, maybe the message is getting confused somewhere, whatever the case may be, it might be a good time to consider a rebranding process. Finally, number 7, is your brand blending in with the competition? Now, this happened to me personally. When I first started freelancing as a graphic designer, my company was called IB Creative. And over time, I discovered there was quite a lot of IB Creatives out there. So instead of blending in with them, I decided to remove myself from that, and I just went with Ian Burr, graphic designer, because there's only one of me. Actually, there is another Ian Burr who used to play football for Australia, but he's not a graphic designer. So anyway, let's look at some of these examples of real estate companies in North America. And as you can see, they all pretty much look the same. Not one stands out from the rest. It's kind of all generic and kind of sad in a way, because you want your brand to stand out. So if this is happening with your brand, if this is happening with your look and feel, perhaps it's time to consider a rebrand. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please leave your comments down below. Hit subscribe. My name is Ian, and you're watching Design.